Hey, what's up guys? So today we are going to be showcasing and showing off a Megalith FTK that only requires one card to pull off. However, it is actually very consistent, as you can have a lot of cards just basically combo into it, which is basically the Gallant Granite, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen before. But basically, you just have to go ahead and make that card. Then you'll pretty much have access to being able to finish off your opponent over here. So this is the important card to go ahead and have that effect. We're going to go ahead and add the Rock Monster. Guess what we're adding? The card that might be on the next chopping block for the ban list, but it's legal right now. But pretty much what it comes down to is just getting that awesome effect of being able to add a bunch of cards. But we're actually going to be using a newer Link monster to actually give our opponent a card to pull off this FTK. Now this FTK is relatively safe, as it can be very consistent to do. And on top of that, you will be giving your opponent a card, as some card effects will require you to, of course, control no cards in order to use them. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. Like, there's no really follow-up, because, like, even if you draw, let's say, like, Dark Ruler No More or Lightning Storm, those cards are pretty much irrelevant anyways. Okay, important thing, this is the new step here, because there was an older Megalith FTK, but we're using the Coordineral, the Gem Transfer. So this linked card and monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. But more importantly, if this card points to two monsters, you get to switch control of those two monsters, and you can only use this effect of it once per. So you're going to give your opponent this card over here, which is the Phantasmal Lord Ultimate Bish Balkan over here. So it doesn't matter for the stats. The important part that this card does offer, technically there's actually more FTKs with this deck now possible because of this card, but basically it's just 8,000, so it just basically gains 1,000 attack for each monster on the field. So that's basically what it comes down to. It's just high stats. That's all that really matters over here. And again, since you're giving your opponent stuff, some cards can't be activated while, of course, you control cards, but it doesn't really matter most circumstances, as there is no follow-up play. Then what you're going to go ahead is make number 33 Chronomaly Maku Mech and pull off this OTK, where you're able to go ahead and target a face-up monster opponent controls, and you get to burn them for the difference between its original attack and current attack, and then this card gains it, but that doesn't matter because your opponent is dead anyways. Okay, now that's the one card one. If some of you guys think, oh, you have to have Gildagger, don't worry, man. You really don't have to have Gildagger. And the next thing is like, what if they have hand traps? Well, we'll go to that one in a second. Let's play this one first, just so you guys can get a variety and an idea of what is to be expected, as a lot of people are playing a lot of cards that could, let's say, disrupt on the following turn. I know Numeron's very popular, so like, this guy's got this drop, like, probably like, there's no way I'm getting FTK'd over here, or even OTK'd the next following turn. Well, the thing is most people don't know how the Megaliths even function. Now, this deck isn't super cheesy, as in, like, it can only pull off the FTK. You can still play out the deck. You can still make more Link monsters, even if the play doesn't go well. But we'll go ahead and show it off against, well, this other guy has Ash, he's got Nibiru. Technically has Dark Ruler No More, but that card never going to be able to be activated. Heck, you can't use any of these cards because there's just simply no opportunity to do so, as this is an FTK deck. So again, the main concept is just going into Gallant Granite, and then you're able to go and search out block, which then searches out whatever you need for your combo pieces, and then you go ahead. You don't even need the Boral Swords effect over there. It's just go ahead and act as another stepping stone. And on top of that, Boral can be a target, a Savage Dragon that is, for your opponent to attempt to negate, so then they can start negating. Although there is no step where you're going to be actually getting a Link monster before most of the time. If your hand is more optimal, you are able to, of course, go ahead and maybe just literally go into like any Link monster, just so you have literally one negate, therefore it baits out a negate, if that makes any sense. But you guys can see it can still kind of go off. And let's go ahead and check it out. This one we got answers for the answers over here. So anyways, this guy, he's probably looking pretty good. Like, I doubt this guy thought he was getting FTK. He's like, yo, I got the Ash Blossom, I've got Dark Ruler No More, and I've got Nibiru. Surprise. But this deck can definitely play out of things, as if your play, let's say with Gildagger, doesn't go through, you still happen to have the option. 100% of the time, if you summon Gildagger, they have to stop it, which again, you could still basically just go ahead and combo right into your ritual cards. Now, he has Nibiru, but that's going to go ahead and get stopped by the Crossout Designator, which is like the multi-tool of a negate whatever you want, as long as, of course, you play those cards and you don't draw all of them as well. But this deck still plays hand traps as well, not only for Dark Ruler, not only for, of course, your crossout designator, but it also will be acting as a way so if your opponent happens to go first, you can kind of disrupt them. As this deck, since it is a deck that I'd say a lot of players don't have that much experience with, you can absolutely demolish them over there. Like, for example, Belthor has the ability to go ahead and you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of ritual monsters with different names in your graveyard. So even if you're going second and they disrupt your plays, if you Belthor them, you just get rid of everything. And then from there, you should be A-okay. Now in this instance, you got it at 9,000, but I'm going to swap it. Once again, Block Dragon, a totally fair balanced card, Kappa. And he's going to go ahead and once again go for that card effect. Go ahead and burn his opponent, bring back Librarian, and of course, that Block Dragon over there. Going to be with the puzzle deleter over there. That's how you manipulate things. But yeah, pretty good and consistent deck. And I got to give a shout out to Eiza. He's the guy that sent this and figured this out. As there technically has been a Gaga Cowboy version of the Megalith FTK, but it takes forever, and this is obviously newer with, of course, the addition of this card. So this card technically you don't have to run. This is the card that is required, that is technically OCG at the moment, but we don't know when we're getting it. But this is going to be something, again, that makes the Block Dragon another contender. I mean, this card's just way too OP, but for this deck, it just makes it insanely consistent. But anyways, here is the deck profile over here. So we've got Nibiru, we've got Block Dragon, of course, we have Senju and Manji. These are level 4s and they search out whatever. Then you have your Ash Blossom, and then the 3 copies of Gildagra. So again, 1 card FTK, but there's a lot of 2 card FTKs in it. Basically Senju and any other way to get out a ritual, and this adds one of the whatever cards you need. Then we have Researcher as our tuner target. And then we got 2 copies of Valor, and then we've got Phaleg over here, 2 copies of Aratron, and then 1 copy of Belthor, 1 copy of the Ancient Ascendant, which is like basically an anti-hand trap. And then we have 3 copies of Ophiel, 3 copies of Haggith. These are just your targets. So again, go right into the options to go for our Gallant Granite. And then we have Full over here, which lets you go ahead and this card's level becomes the level of the target, and then you get to add the other card back to your hand, and then you can quick effect it. You can activate this effect to ritual summon a Megalith monster from your hand or deck by triggering monsters from your hand or field. So this card can get you into basically the card, as you guys saw, to go ahead and make a Gallant Granite. We have 3 copies of the Preparation of Rites, and then 3 copies of Called by the Grave, 3 copies of Crossout Designator, and 3 copies of the Megalith Unformed over here, being able to go ahead and ritual summon. Easy, self-explanatory. And then there's just 1 impermanence over here. But this is the card that I was mentioning before. It says if you control no cards, obviously you're going to give your opponent some cards, so then they can't really make use of it. Again, if you wanted to, you could probably, in some circumstances, like I mentioned before, go for like literally any Link monster, and then your Boral will have a target. But it requires like a better hand, even though most of the time we just use it as a stepping stone. And again, sometimes people will just like, as soon as you summon Boral, they're just like, okay, negate immediately. Although in this circumstance, there's really no targets that you'll usually go for first. But anyways, of course, we got Bish Balkan to pull off the FTK. We got Savage Dragon, Librarian, Arclight, and then, you know, just the standard other cards that most decks would play. This card obviously required, and then the Halki, and then the drop and deleter over here. So this is a card I was mentioning before, where you get to declare a level from 1 through 8, and it changes that level. This card, during the gameplay, I briefly did mention it, but yeah, that's how you manipulate the levels of the monsters. It actually has a pretty decent effect. I actually played this in Dinos a while back, and every time I saw this, people were like, what the heck is this thing? It's actually a really good effect because you can target 2 monsters with the same level, 1 from each field, and in the off chance that you give them something, you're able to go and pop your baby dinosaur. It's actually a really cool effect. I love it. Yeah, that's that card. And then we have Reprodocus, and then these are the extra cards that maybe he was trying out, or this is also great side deck card choices anyways for the most part. But anyways, shout out to my boy Eiza, and if you guys want to download it, it'll be there in the Discord as well. And if you guys want to check out his channel, because he hooked me up with this, so shout out to him. He's got a lot more Yu-Gi-Oh content. I'll have him pinned down below over there in the comment section below. But anyways, yeah, that is the 1 card FTK Megalith deck. Again, it's a very consistent 2 card FTK as well, just in case any of you guys wanted to go ahead and just kind of play it out. because it's not a super cheesy deck. Geldagara, I don't know. I always feel like this card is never good unless it's an FTK. So this card, maybe it might be a contender also later down the line to get hit. Because there's a lot more ritual support coming out. And obviously with the Herald, you just start signing them. That's a free plus, man. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you are new here, make sure you guys are subscribed. Turn on that bell so you don't miss out when there is more YuGiOh FTKs and crazy YuGiOh combos. Once again, shout out to my homie Eiza for hooking me up with the plays. And if you guys want to send me other cool replays, FTKs, I know that with Black Garden, you could probably also pull this off. So I'm thinking that this card, there could be another build with it, but you'd have to go into the Rose Synchro. But that will be another topic for another day. But that would technically make it like TCG legal in a sense. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you next one. Have a good one. I'm out. Peace.